Oh. How can I do this and not spill this? Because this is just nasty. Let's see, I know I'm live. And put it on live chat and see who's going to show up. Hello, everybody. I have to move this. I'll be right back. This too. All right, I'm back. Mostly. Oh, what fell down? I knew I heard something fall down behind me. Bags. How are you guys tonight? Ah, my nose is running. It's running away. Catch it, catch it. I see Jody has the same cold. Oh. And who do I see? I see Fiona and Linda and Val. Hi. Oh. From Michigan. I remember being in Holland, Michigan when I was really young on a family vacation. Just lots of tulips everywhere. So I think I was about 6. Yeah, Fiona, I'm trying. Whatever this is, it's going around, and it is a nasty. It is not that virus, but whatever it is, it just fills you with mucus from like here into your lungs. And Jody had it, Jody Renshaw. Apparently, it put her in the hospital for a few days last week. My son had it, wrapped himself like a human burrito, and slept for 2 days, and he's mostly fine. He's still, it still lingers in everybody's sinuses. A couple of my scout parents had it. Now it's going through the kids, and it's going through their school. But I caught it from Mike. So, Jody very nicely, very kindly had invited me to be on the crafter sale that she and Pat Doodles had tonight. And I just couldn't do it because I just was not doing real well. I would sleep for like 2 hours and then wake up from so much coughing fits. And I haven't been at physical therapy all week. I'm supposed to call them on Sunday and just leave a note about, is it good to go or am I canceling again? That had better be better by Sunday. Oh, it's just a mess. And so I'm sorry for having to keep blowing my nose, but I just rinsed everything out with a neti pot with salt water, and it takes a little bit to clear all that. So, and of course you hear it. This is, what that noise is from. Don't ever stop a softball with your face. Don't. Then you'll end up blowing a nose like I do and making noise. Anytime I've been backstage on a musical, these smart Alex in the room invariably try to figure out which note it is that my nose is playing. Is it B flat? No, I think it's an A. No. So, it's been a challenge. I was wondering where these were, and apparently the pile behind me had eaten them, and well, just coughed them back up again. They're little silk bags that I had gotten because I wanted to put, the jewelry in them when I had sold jewelry, because I only had little plastic bags. And for some of those more expensive pieces, I wanted to have something a little nicer. So I wondered where. Now at the house, I just cough up my wallet. Lost my wallet somewhere in the house. But I was just not feeling good, and I sat it down, and I don't know where. I hate when I get a head cold because I get stupid. I just kind of forget where I sit things, and, Here's how bad it was. 2 days ago, I sat my glasses down in the bathroom, washed my face, walked out of the bathroom. I'm looking all over the house downstairs here. Where the heck are my glasses? I can't see. Where's my glasses? And my glasses are kind of old anyway because I have a hard time seeing too far. Like, that's one of the reasons the laptop is below the phone, is because that way I can look down and use the bifocals to read the chat. If I try to read the chat that's on the edge of my phone up here, even looking straight ahead, I can't read it with the lenses anymore. I used to be able to read it with both, and I can't. And so I know I'm overdue to get checked again, but my insurance only covers the dock. It doesn't cover the glasses at all. And I have other things to worry about. As long as these hang in there, keep having to twist one screw back into place every now and then. So how have you guys all been? I hope there's no nasty little head colds going around your area, because this sucker's no fun. So who's here? Hey, Melanie. How are you, honey? I was just thinking about you because I have a box to weigh and invoice you, but you've just had so much other stuff to deal with. I didn't want to do it yet. Dang it. I made a point. Don't sneeze. Oh, heavens, don't sneeze. And it's all salt water right now. Those neti pots, you tilt your head and the water all runs through. But then, because your sinus cavity here and cavity here, you tilt your head the wrong way now and you'll still get salt water coming out. Yeah, I have to admit, I'm glad I'm not at Wawa. Because I'm in Delaware County. I'm in southern Delaware County. And Delco, in Delco, we love each other, but we'll also admit that not all of them in this county are the sharpest knives in that drawer. The ladder don't go all the way up to the top rung. You know what I'm saying? I've had one customer that would constantly get in customers' faces. He would get like this close to talk to somebody. He would bump into your shoulder and tell you how he's medically exempt. He doesn't have to wear a mask. He is an ass. You don't need to get in my face and tell me that, Okay, Mel, I'll take care of you. So, your 5-year-old tested positive. Ooh. See, I worry about that because around here, the county office has said that, they're seeing a problem with young kids getting it. And the young kids are picking up that Delta because it's stronger. So it's the younger kids, their immune systems aren't able to kick it out. My kid has a fantastic immune system. He'd be 3 years old, and I'd hand him a little spade and a bucket and go, here, go dig in the backyard. My sister thought I was nuts. But I'd literally let him play in the mud, in the backyard. Sometimes I'd even give him a little pitcher with water so he can make his little mud pies and stuff. And my kid rarely gets sick. Her kids constantly got sick. And now as adults, they're still that way. Me, I got shipped out of the house every time an illness came through because of being born with the heart murmur. So my immune system never had a chance to really get real strong as a kid. Knock on wood right now, Fiona. I don't know anybody who has the virus. I was gonna say who has the big C, but I'm like, nope, that's a whole different problem people think of when you say the big C. And thank you, Lord, because my little sister, Christy, she has gone to hell and back having treatment for breast cancer. And they now believe that they found it all and that the treatment has worked. So hopefully she'll be able to come home for Christmas because we haven't seen her in a long time. And because she's out on the West Coast. And she's so happy because she got to go back and start teaching her kids because she's an elementary school teacher. So, Nettie, darling. So, Nettie sent me a surprise. Those of you who have me on your Instagram already saw a picture of the top of that cake. You know. So, Nettie sent me an Italian rum cake from Massachusetts. And it was fabulous. So I slept most of yesterday. Woke up around 1:30, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Well, come 3:30, my sister and my brother come back because she had to take him to the hospital for a procedure. I couldn't go because I'm sick. Mike still got coughing and phlegm, so he couldn't take him either. So they get back, and I'm sitting at the computer here, and they come in the door, and I hear my sister saying, well, what did she order now? She shouldn't be ordering stuff like this. This is expensive. This is some food, and it's overnight express. She just assumed that I had ordered something, and I'm like, I don't order anything. And then I opened it up, and it was such a big surprise. And we all loved it. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart because this house hasn't seen a cake in 2 years now of any kind because the oven's broken. It just needs a hose, but dang it. I'm taking this cough medicine. It just needs a hose because it's old enough oven that it still had rubber hoses for the gas lines. And so a mouse got in there because the doctor is an absolutely lousy mouser. And it built a nest underneath one of the lines. And it ate the rubber line. So when you try to turn the oven on, one side lights, the other side doesn't. And the other side just is pouring gas out. So, you don't want the thing to explode. So you can't be having that. And you can't use the broiler either because there's still a little bit of gas that goes into that lower line and then leaks. So we can't use the broiler either. And it broke right before the first lockdowns. So I think it's been about 2 years now. Shot glass. No, that's not slow gin. It's nasty old cough medicine. Remember back in the day when these things like NyQuil and all that had alcohol in them? I swear they tasted better and they worked better. Sit him back there. So it's not a sale tonight, which I figured I'd give everybody fair warning with that vlog kind of thing I did earlier. Oh, Fiona, I'm sorry about your cousin. See, brain not working. So my point I was trying to get is how wonderful Nettie is. But my son had never had an Italian rum cake. But by the time my sister had a piece, Gary had a piece, I had a piece, and then I had another piece before I went to bed, my birthday cake anyway. But it was so wonderful because we hadn't had a cake in 2 years in this house for anybody's birthday or holiday. And then when I got up this morning, I noticed that a little two-footed mouse that I'm related to, and not Michael, had come down at some point, and he'd had more overnight. But the little stinker, my brother had actually picked all the nice little shaved chocolate chunks off of the top of the cake. What is he, a 9-year-old? It was, some days it is. It's like living with that little 10-year-old kid that sneaks in and sticks their finger into the dessert they're not allowed to have. So I had another piece, and then I put a note on it because there was only one nice big chunk left, and Mike hadn't had any. So I took a Post-it note and I stuck it on the little tray piece with it and said Michael, so that Mike got some. And it was funny because he's never had one, and he's telling me, he says, "Yeah, this is pretty good. I could taste the rum." Okay, and then he suddenly looks at me funny, and he goes, "Is my tongue supposed to start to tingle?" Like, yeah, because that's the rum. It was really funny because he just suddenly got a very strange look on his face, like, is this supposed to happen? I don't know that this is supposed to happen. So Nettie, we had a lot of fun over that cake. That was wonderful. And I'll tell you, with getting sick like this again and having yet another thing, it seems like every time I turn around, I've got something else that's getting in my way to getting things, just getting orders packed up and invoiced and the money coming in. And then the money's then there'll be something else breaks, and it's like, so it's been just, I was feeling really, really, I was not feeling it. Because one of the things I have a problem with is that I do have depression meds, but I have not been able to take the depression meds while I'm on some of the meds for my back. So I've not been on these meds since May. And it's been okay, but now we're heading into fall. And once the leaves start dropping off the trees, I start having seasonal depression because I can't stand how stark and bare and wet everything looks. Till you get that first snow, then I'm okay. But it was hitting a little, that was hitting a little early this year. So thank you very much, and we had a lot of fun with it. Yeah. I don't know if the cake helped the cold, but it, like Mike said, it at least got me to eat something, because when you have this much mucus, it starts messing with your stomach, and you don't want to eat. So at least it got me to eat something. Oh, it was fun though. Thank you. So tonight, and so nobody thinks I'm kidding. I have all the paperwork written out because I've had like 4 sales now that I've had, and a few even older. So I have everything all written out now. There's 5 pages here of stuff that either has to be packed up and invoiced, or stuff from eBay and Etsy that's sold, and stuff from emails that sold, and I finally feel like I can start moving around and packing a little better. I'm lasting longer than just 2 hours awake and then 2 hours of sleep, because that's what it's been like since Sunday night. I would last about 2 hours awake, and then that third hour a couple times I fell asleep here in the chair. I was sorting laundry in Michael's room while he was at work, when he worked a second shift on Tuesday, And he came home to find me asleep on his bed because, I don't know, at some point just trying to sit there, fold clothes, and I just conked out. So, you love the pink hair? You like it? Let me tell you, all the people I know of a certain age, older than me, aren't loving the pink hair. Especially some of those ones that are about 14 years older than me. That's a girl that I'm related to. She's loving the pink hair. Oh well, it's hair. It grows back. Actually, when this is semi-permanent, so when this washes out, there's gonna be some serious blonde under there. I don't know how I feel about that blonde that's under it. Ugh, I never wanted to be blonde, but this blonde actually was surprisingly cool looking because you could see all the red gold highlights in it. So when we bleached my hair, it bleached a lot of the mix that was the lighter dirty blonde hair. It bleached all that out, but it didn't quite bleach out all the red. So it's got some really interesting highlights. Oh yeah, I'm the black sheep of the family because I do me. I'm never quite fit in with this family. They're all too much stick in the muds about some things. So, but yeah, my sister would never do this. My sister would never do. I can't picture her at 70 now doing pink hair. I think she'd look good, but but I don't think she's doing this. So, let's see. Like I said, I've kind of at a loss now. Like there's so much. Dang it. Sorry about the coughing, guys. But I've accumulated so much here that I no longer know what's here. I do know that I've put this. No, we're not selling him tonight. It's so hard to find this stuff when he gets closer to the holiday that I'm going to put him in the box for as we get closer to it. But look, I found a St. Patrick's Day piece. Isn't that cool? It's so hard to find St. Patrick's Day stuff. Now I have to carefully clean him because he's got a smudge near one eye and he's got some dust on him. That's why he's still out. So I know he's got to go. He can stay sitting there. Now, these are the two Scooby-Doos that didn't sell. No, I need that spot for any recycling we find. I can sit them there, put them in a box for Goodwill or if I find more. Yeah, cute little piggy, right? It's just so hard to find some of the other holidays, like St. Patrick's Day stuff. So, holidays are coming. Now, I'm making sure he doesn't have anything in him. He doesn't have a mark. I found him, but I only found one. So it's just a single salt shaker. But I didn't know this is kind of too big for dollhouse stuff. So you guys tell me, when you find the old vintage plastic, from like the 50s on through the 70s, the vintage plastic Christmas stuff, does this stuff sell? Let me know, because I know I'm looking for a very specific Christmas plastic. This little thing ain't it. But I didn't know whether I should donate these or hang on to them for a live sale. I mean, they're made to be candle rings, but I didn't know if you guys would use those. Bakelite. Oh yeah, Nettie, when I was in high school, only the punk rockers dyed their hair. But that was, the early 80s. Yeah, that's to crafters, because you might be able to use this for an assemblage thing. I mean, if you found tiny enough stuff, you could turn it into a wreath. But it's just like, it's a bit too big for dollhouse size. It's a wee bit too big, I think. Whoops. Oh, hello. Where'd you go? You were a pin. You're not allowed to disappear onto the floor. Ah! Ow. Pins are not allowed to do that. Okay, so you guys are getting a sneak peek at some of this stuff. Oh no, this is the one I wanted to keep. This should go upstairs with me. But I'll take it out of the bag. I can use the bag. You were a mild punk rocker? How do you be a mild punk rocker? Oh, you just don't do the wild hair, maybe? Yeah, I was thinking, Fiona, is like, I have a lot of stuff that I might just put together as like assemblage lots. Oh, I was never going to shave my hair. I picked this up at that church sale, but I picked this up for me. This has to go upstairs because I like pansies. Isn't that cute? So that one is supposed to be upstairs, so I don't forget it. We'll just do this. Because every other thing I bought at that church sale that was jewelry, you're going to see in upcoming live sales. And you want to see the coolest thing? Oh, I hate when they put masking tape on things for the prices. Because this is on the original card. And don't rip the card. There we go. It is Chris Mouse. 'Twas the night before Christmas when all through the house not a creature was stirring, not even Chris Mouse. And then it says copyright B and J. But those are pins, matching pins, and it's on the original card. Isn't that cool? It is so cool to see them on the original card. And then I have that one that'll stay on the card. Because I mean that's why that one's so rare, is because the fact that it's still on the card. But I do have a loose one of the same little mouse, and they had a bigger one. And the cool part of the bigger one is his head's on a spring, so his head moves. Isn't that wild? So we know, okay, so we have that for Christmas. We have the wreaths. I'm going to make a little Christmas baggie here. And we're going to put all the little Christmassies together in a little Christmas baggie. Oh, these are the last of the devil postcards that I didn't sell. Well, that's okay, because we can hang on to them for next time around. No! Stuff's just falling over. Okay, so I know where that goes. We sit that there. I don't know if I can do anything with this. These are the parts. And the rest of it was really badly corroded. But it was one of those candle chimes. So I have the angel, the little cherubs. I have 4 of these little guys. And I have a piece that they're supposed to go on. But if you look at this only holds 3 of them. And they hang like that. But I've got 4 cherubs, but the piece only holds 3. So that's I think that's going to be something else that's for that crafter's bit. Maybe somebody could figure something out to do with them. So we'll make sure they go in to the little Christmas bag. Heifer International wants money. Well, that's going in the recycling. Christmas postcards. I'm gonna put them over here. I have a spot for them because I use postcards for package toppers. So I'm always looking for more modern ones. I don't tend to use the vintage ones for that. Now, I know what these are. I have to see if these. I know these sell really, really super well on eBay. If you ever find, these are all printed in West Germany, and they are little cards that are advent calendars. They're all advent calendars, and there is a big market. The artwork on these is somebody named Sarah Ball. I don't see an artist for the other ones, but I can't read the journal. That's another Sarah Ball. But I know if you find any kind of advent calendars, especially if they come from West Germany for some reason, these cards can go really crazy. Like, these can be $20 to $25 a card on eBay. So if you're out and about and you see them at an estate sale or anything, go ahead and grab them. Go ahead and grab them. You can make yourself some money. Oh, nice vintage postcard. That one's supposed to be upstairs. eBay comps for a Doctor Strange Q figure and for Lego Dimensions something. Okay. Oh, now I bought this for me. This is for in my collection. It is a 2-headed deer. And it's an actual photograph. It's a postcard. It's a postcard photograph. This is from the University of Alaska Museum, because it says it at the bottom. But I'm putting this in with my Halloween stuff. And these, I think these are probably no use to anybody. So I have 2, and I have all the others of these are up on my eBay. And they're the old decals that have the state map. But look how misprinted the colors are and the lines on this one. So I have 2 that are misprints. Because this one too, the words and the colors, they're not lined up right. So I had 2 that I didn't list because they're just not. And I don't see how anybody could use them for anything since they're so out of whack. So Terry's here. Hi, Terry and Paula. So we'll get rid of them. Casio digital camera software. That's right, because the software disk was in one box, but I found the Casio camera in its box in another box. But my laptop doesn't have a disk reader. So the manual, I wonder if Mike's has a disk reader, if his laptop has a disk reader. I don't know, but I'm going to have to find out. You know, they charge you extra now if you want to get a laptop or that actually has like a CD drive for, you know, being able to read discs. You have to pay extra. You have to pay extra for freaking everything anymore. So that's no fun. Day Trip Vintage, hello. Well, we're helping sort out, they're helping me sort out. We're going to see what's over here because I've just been so sick with this head cold that there was no way I was going to be ready for a sale. So I thought, you know, we could do like they do on Antiques from Karen with Jen. You guys can help me out here and we see what we've got hiding here. Because my little area back here is getting very claustrophobic. I'm getting too much stuff around here. Okay, what else we got? Another mask. Jewelry, jewelry, piece of ribbon. Uh-huh. I don't have that printer anymore. Still sealed. I don't see a date, though. I guess the date would have been on the box. Gee, I wonder if I could put that on eBay. Buyer beware, though. I have no way of knowing if that's got anything in there. Oh, look, more jewelry. So we've got a necklace. Another necklace. Actually, I think this is probably a choker. And I got, this is another one needs to go upstairs. I got that for me from Flippin' Crazy. Lisa has been doing a ton of sales because one of her cats got pretty sick. So she's doing a ton of sales, more than she usually does. But 90% of her sales are jewelry, and she has all kinds of stuff. But she's also was having to, like, get ready to move. So she was clearing out like craft books and things like that as well, and craft supplies. But her channel is called Flippin' Crazy, Flippin. And isn't this a cool enamel pin? So you have the seal underneath chasing two fish, and there's a little hole there, and you have the polar bear who's looking down into the water, probably hoping to catch the seal. So that one I thought was such a neat looking pin when she had one of her special sales for helping her pay for Teddy. I went and bought this one. And so I don't forget it. We're going to hook this one to my jacket. And, you know, oh, you love to organize? This house would break you, darling. Huh. Nippon, made in Japan. That's a mark I have to look up. Look how cool that looks. It's got a bird on it. Oh, to put one of the misprint decals as the package topper? That's a thought. Just send it on that way. I've sold, I mean, they found a bunch of them, and they were from a great uncle, and oh, I've been hiding these from the cat. So I finally got them listed on eBay, and I've sold, I think I've sold, at this point, I've sold half of them. So when the doctor decides to grace me with her presence because she's mad at me, these little mice came with the big TARDIS, and they were a wonderful gift. And she's so bored and getting chunky. My cat's getting chunky because she doesn't have another cat to race around the house and mess with, and she's been staying inside more often. So Any little toy will help keep her moving and occupied. Would be a good thing. All right, now what do I do with the duster? I made a point of bringing a duster out here. See, I'm telling you, brain like a steel sieve. Nothing wants to stay in it. I brought one of those little Swiffer duster things, and I know I brought it out here. I have no idea where I put it. I hate being sick. It makes me stupid. Just makes me stupid. I don't know what I did with it. I had it in my hand before I started the live, and now I don't know where I put it. How many of you get that way when you get a head cold? Your brain just takes a vacation, says, nope, she's got a cold, I'm out of here. Yeah, I lost it. I don't know how I lost it, but I lost it. All right, so I'm going to take this jewelry stuff because I've got a whole little thing of jewelry here. I need to do a static sale, I think, where I just do some jewelry. Because I've got a fair bit of it, but not all of it is vintage like we think of vintage. You know, like, you're gonna fit in there. You know, so not all this, and some of it, like this is pretty cool. This won't stay in my hair. My hair is too fine. This is a barrette. But that's such cool pearls on there that might go into the crafter stuff because you could use that as a star on some crafted thing for Christmas. So we'll put all that jewelry in one little thing there. I had wanted to dust as I went. There it is. Get some of this off of here. See what we got here. I know I've got more. Well, that doesn't look like it's missing anything. It's kind of heavy. That's a metal ornament, but it's a cool picture frame. We got to put that with the Christmas stuff. That's paparazzi. This is 2 more necklaces. Got to open this bag back up. Yeah, I try to stay organized, but you get to a point where you end up with either little stuff left over from a sale, or you were sorting something and it doesn't quite all fit into where you actually have spots. Fiona, you want to make an offer to buy the star? Where did that star just go? Oh, Nettie, you did it. If you bought it, you better use it. That's how I ended up with a ton of craft stuff, is because she had all the ideas and then never did half of them. So, and I can't blame my mother on all of that because I used to do a lot more crafts before I got Michael. We used to do craft shows together and stuff. And so, all right, Fiona, what are you thinking on the little barrette? It doesn't have any maker's name. It is all gold metal around the back. And it's not missing anything. But my hair is so fine because it hasn't had a perm in it that I can't wear a barrette like this. It slides right out. Oh, Melanie, yeah, you have beautiful jewelry from that store. Oh, yeah, thumbs up would be nice. I should thumbs up my own. Click. There we go. So, all right, so that This is holiday. Little piglet guy is holiday. This I have to look up because I know like a lot of the stuff for vintage casinos that don't exist anymore can be worth it to put onto eBay. So I need to look up Fremont Street or the Golden Nugget in Las Vegas. I don't know if the Golden Nugget is still there. So we know that's gonna be an eBay piece. And these are the black cat candles I got. Now I have to not store this in the attic. I'm gonna show you one of these. When they bought that house, it was loaded with stuff. And they said they didn't care. They'll take everything that they wanted to leave. And it was full of cat stuff. And I love black cats. But these are the coolest Halloween candles. But the cat is dimensional. And look, it's got a white fur tummy. Most candles don't actually have all that pattern on the back. You know, they usually just have the front. And I couldn't resist those. But I have to watch. Like, I just sold one of the rarer 5-inch tall girly candles. That's a pumpkin-headed scarecrow at my last sale that I was on. And I sold it because I don't want to store candles in the attic. And these are so cool and so different. And I'm like, nope, they're going to go in my bedroom, into the drawer of the treasure cabinet, because I'm not risking putting these in the attic. So that goes upstairs with me. I have these. Now, I need to make a video on this. Look at this. This is the little order catalog for Busilla. So Busilla still is a name that you can find embroidery packages, embroidery kits for different things. Well, this is the catalog from, with those haircuts, it's got to be sometime in the 20s, maybe the 30s. Look at these little baby layette outfits. So I want to do a video where you're just looking at this little catalog, but it's so tiny. And they have all like the flappers kind of outfits and haircuts, and the front camera is hard to get close-ups on, but if I can figure out a stand where I can make the camera like look straight down with one of the 4 lenses they have on the back of the phone, then I could get really detailed close-up pictures. But look at the center spread. That is for the bedroom. They have everything. They have runners for across the top of the dresser, curtains, the bedspread, everything you could want for an entire bedroom. And that's the center display. Isn't that wild? And like the curtains, it was 80-inch length and valance, $2.65 a pair. If you wanted the oblong pillow, that was just 85 cents. A dresser scarf with matching little pin cushion was $1.25. You couldn't get that price now. But there just was such a cool little find, and I've held on to it because I want to do a video on it. I found a year. I found it. Is that a 2 or a 1? Uh-oh. That's a 2. I was right. It's the 20s. So it's from 1926. Look at those outfits. 1926, where, a lot of the stuff, a lot of times the kids' clothes were made at home, and you'd buy the embroidery transfer. The other thing I found is an old Hanover house. And this reminds me of, how many of you know, is it Walter Drake catalogs? And that's what this reminds me of. It's not much different from a Walter Drake catalog. And it's just and the funny thing is some of the stuff that's in a Walter Drake catalog that's in this old catalog, they haven't changed. In all these decades, they've not changed. There's still, there's still metallic finishes that you can rub on to fix your picture frames, which actually I've seen Scott from Old Curiosity Shop. They still make that stuff. You can get it in gold, in copper, and silver. There's different shades of gold, and it's wax that has a little bit of a metallic to it. And it's a great way to help restore some old things that need the color back on, especially if it was something like a gilded picture frame, like those 1800 ones. But yeah, I have to laugh at some of the stuff. Caulking for around the tub, things to clean your pearls with. That's all still the same. I'm looking to see if there's actually any Christmas pages in here, just so I could show them to you and share it with you, because this is not one that because so much of it is the same as anything you could find in a Walter Drake catalog. A heated mat for your pet dog. You can get that stuff now. Now, how you can't get. This is the kind of stuff we look for. Look at the little lipstick girl. Like the little lipstick girl, where is she? That one. Now, that you're not going to find. You used a chair and taped your phone to it. Oh, cool. I saw somebody and they had a piece of wood, but they had to wait. They made like remember the old periscopes made out of cardboard with the mirrors in them that went like this and then up and then over? And that's what it looked like. She had done that she had a piece of wood this way, and then another piece this way, and the phone sat on this one. But then she had to figure out a way to weight it on the bottom, because, doing it that way, then the weight was tipping the thing over, which it worked. It did work. Start fires instantly and then add color. I can find that stuff today too, and I use it for Boy Scouts sometimes. Nothing will flip them out faster than you take one of those things where you have the sticks of whatever the chemicals are, and you throw them into a campfire, and it suddenly turns all colors. And the ones that seem to think it's the coolest are like the 11 and 12-year-olds who've never seen that stuff before. So there's not a section in here that has anything Christmas. That's no fun. So this one's going to go. I won't be doing a video on that one. That's not gonna stay. Okay, that's recycling. I'll put that down there. And we have jewelry is got a spot right there. Porcelain has a spot right there. See, I kind of prepped. Okay, note cards, they go in that bag. And I don't think I put these in. Did I put these in the sale? I think I put these in my sale. They should be up there. Oh, these are cool. I was going to put these away for Easter. They are used, but look at the images. Aren't they cool? So they need to go with the other stuff, the other holiday stuff. Oh, and so let me show you, because these are up on eBay right now. These are all those different, because I just had to pack one up and send it today. All the different states that are left This one doesn't have its envelope. There were some that had some pinup kind of look to them. And I think most of those are gone. New Hampshire. Oh, no. South Dakota's still here. And the Indian one. All right. So there's two of the pinup ones. You know, the ones that sold the first were some of the ones that were places in Florida. Like I had two for Key Biscayne. And the lighthouse on the decal was red. Well, at some point, they've repainted that lighthouse white. But check this one out for South Dakota. So you've got the girl shooting. Who shoots in high heels and rolled up shorts? Who's shooting in that? And then the other one, I have them in alphabetical order so I can find them. Where'd you go? There she is. Utah. That's the only other pinup kind of, because some of them did. They had girls on them that got the little Indian maiden, but you got her in really super short and all leg and just a vest for her top. You know, a man designed some of these. But there were ones with mermaids for Mermaid Lagoon, which is now part of some some state park down in Florida. And what was the other one? There was another one that was really different. It was some kind of gardens, which now are something else in Florida. So, but yeah, those are all, I had all these, those are all up on eBay. I got them all listed. And let me put this back because this should be on the shelf. All of the big heavy stuff that I had on eBay, all has sold, and you could see all the stuff that I listed since I had gotten hurt in May. All the stuff that's on there is all little tiny stuff. It's either collectible Happy Meals toys or the old PVC toys, which have sold most of them. If you ever find early Disney PVC, the little you'll see them listed as cake toppers a lot, but they're made out of what they call PVC vinyl. And they were just sold as toys. Now people think of them only as using them as cake toppers. But if you find early enough ones that say Bully, Bully, on the bottom of them, or they'll say West Germany, because those are Bully. Those are the ones you want, because some of those can be, you know, I mean, you can pick them up at a yard sale sometimes for $2.25, or even cleaning out your kids' own toys. And those early ones can be 12, 15. If it's the right Smurf, it could be $20 or $30. So it's a surprisingly little thing that you don't think of. And God, I've got boxes of toys that go all the way back to stuff that were from my brothers that we ain't even getting to yet. I thought I found a really great thing. I grabbed it because it said Rosemary Clooney. I was so happy. I wasn't going to get rid of it because it said Rosemary Clooney. I love Rosemary Clooney. And then I got it home and I looked and it says Walt Disney's Three Little Pigs. This is not Rosemary Clooney. Mind you, it's not in bad shape, but it's not the record that it's supposed to be. But I know who I got this from, so I need to hang on to it because there is a chance, slim one, but there is a chance that she'll give me more kids' records and I'll find the right one. But isn't that a cool graphic? I mean, I'm hanging on to this just because I really like the graphic. So that's another fun one to have. Oh, I have to go through them. There's one here because I snagged this one for Mike and I. It's an old Pennsylvania map. But what I don't get is it says it's a fishing map. Mike has wanted to find an old state map, but it has all the different creeks on it that you can go fishing at. And it says what areas have like smallmouth bass and walleye, trout, where you can just do fly fishing. So this one I think is going to end up going on eBay because it's so specialized. And that one has to go on that. I have to look him up because I think this is one of the ones that another YouTuber I had seen said is one of the ones that was only ever printed once. Some of these early Telltale books are pretty high in value because they never reprinted them. And I think he's one of them. So that's another one that's got to be looked up. As does this. Any Texans in the house tonight? Oh, that's a note card. Let's put that down in there. I have a book that's just on Texas. The American Guide series. This was part of the book collection. The American Guide series did one on every state. And it is usually a big old thick book. Lots of black and white pictures. And they are on each state. Now, they're worth more, of course, if you find them with the original dust jackets. But this is from 19... Oh, you got me there. Okay, Roman numerals. What does the L stand for? Because I've forgotten. MCM is 1900. And then it says XL. So that's 10 off of whatever. Does the L stand for 50? Because if the L stands for 50 and it has XL, then that means this is from 1940. But it's a whole series of, you can find all the states that they did these things, these American Guide series, and they were one of your first, hey, there's something in it. They were one of your first guidebooks. Okay, so then the book's 1940. This is in Spanish. Hotel Monterey NL. What the devil is that? But it's a receipt from 1941. It was tucked inside the book. Well, that's cool. But it's all in Spanish. Okay, I'm going to stick it back in the book. Let it be a surprise for somebody. It has folklore, it has agriculture, it has history, it has sections on the bigger cities, Beaumont, Brownsville, Austin, Corpus Christi, Dallas, of course, El Paso, Fort Worth, because it goes through a lot of the bigger cities. And then it has, in the whole back, it has a big chunk of the back of the book. Like all of this in the back is all about touring the state. And so these are super awesome. This is one, though, that I found that did not have the dust jacket. And I know I sold so many of them that did. There were duplicates of a lot of these. So I'll check. I don't know. I may, if there's enough interest, would you want to see this come up in a live sale? I kind of avoid state-specific stuff for the live sales simply because I don't know how interested you guys would be if it's not your state. So I don't know. Let me know. Do you think this would be one that we could put up in a live sale if there'd be enough interest? Or should I just throw that one like I did most of the other? But all the other ones that I had put up a couple of years ago onto eBay all had their dust jackets. So, but let me know if you think that should be in a live sale. I will set it aside immediately into the live sale pile. Look, we have space. I could put the TARDIS back, the little one. The little one is breakable, so I moved it out of here. This is for my holiday stuff, which is in that bag, so that's going to go upstairs. Oh, my back is bothering me. Okay. Oh, my God. Caution dry ice. That came with the cake. Recycling. Oh, wait. Medical paperwork. Put that over there. Recycling, recycling. Recycling. All this goes right here for the pile of recycling. Hey, don't you fall off, little bugger. I'm going to lose my pen. I don't want to lose my pen. Put it up there then. This had something in it that then they decided not to get it. So that's packing. That should go back with that. Oi, give me a U. Oh, don't lose the TARDIS. Let's not lose the big TARDIS. Okay, so. Oi. Yeah, you think it wouldn't hurt to try the Texas book? Well, yeah, I mean, remember that checkbook? Remember that old 1927 checkbook that still had all the blank checks in it? And how high that went? That surprised the daylights out of me. Oh, this is, okay, so this is stuff from when I could go to that nice little place that was just down the street from me. And I found some cool stuff and I did a video on them. And then when I went back after being hurt for so long, the owner got rid of all of the smalls, all of them. It's all gone. And he has mattresses now in the corner. Yeah, like I want to buy a secondhand mattress. So I have to look these up. But look at the handle. Isn't that awesome? But it has a number on it, handmade in Greece, and there's a signature in there. And the signature says, I think, D. Vassi? V-A-S-S squiggly line. There's two. V-A-S-S-I-L. I can read it better on the other. But they're numbered as well. So that's the back. That's the front. None of this is transfer work. These are all, they don't look like they're transfers. I'll have to take, I think this one might be a transfer, but a lot of the black around it looks like it's all hand painted. So I have to look those two up. And I know he's heading for eBay. Ready Kilowatt. But I have to clean her. She's so dusty. She's probably heading for you guys. She is a George Lefton, and it actually says Geo Lefton, which means she's really early. She is a very early one, very dusty. That was the one thing, is like everything down there was super dusty. I picked these up because this is really cool glitter and you just don't find it anymore. But you have to be careful with this glitter. This is when glitter was little tiny cut up metal squares. So you have to be careful when you find glitter that's Mary Craft and it's one of these plastic tubes. This is the old school glitter. And it's actual pieces of little tiny pieces of metal. But the thing I mentioned about in those, when I said I had kits that I'd never seen before for Easter, look at all the, now they're dusty as can be, but it's all these glass beads. I think they're glass, but all these beads are stuck in here with a pin. And then you've got a handle, and then these guys are flocked. And I'm just not sure how to clean these. Now, this one, you can see he's missing something there. He should have a base like this, but his handle doesn't want to stay up. But he's the same way. He's got the two bunnies, but he's also missing a couple of things on the back, or else they didn't line them up right. It looks like there might be two holes there. Yeah, because see, like there's one coming off there. So I think he's missing two. But I have, unfortunately, I did not find enough bottoms because I have this. Now this has yellow on it. So this goes to, where do you see these? I think they're fabulous. Oh no, we have a duck down. So that base goes to one of these two. This way. Aren't they wild? And you can see there's supposed to be Mama Duck and the two little ones. And there's a weird little makeshift hinge in there. I've never seen Easter ones, ever. And they have to be a kit because there's two, but they're so dusty. And I don't know how to clean these. I'm afraid to do too much. I don't want to damage them. But they really, really desperately need a cleaning. Look, there's little Mama Duck here. I want to make my hand all crystal clear, but not ducky. So you guys have any suggestions? I'll take them. But it has to be a kit because when you see this yellow one, every single one of these yellow things is a flower petal. Look, you can see it on this. You can see it on that it's actually flower petal shaped sequins. Hair dryer didn't do it. I tried a hair dryer, and this is so old a layer of dust that while the loose stuff came off, there's a lot of stuff still stuck on there. Now this is going to show up in a live sale. It's a Swarovski. I can never say it. And I can't find it now. It is marked. It's marked somewhere. I saw it. I don't know where it's marked. I'll have to look at it with a jeweler's loupe again. But it's all made with crystal teardrops. There's the base. The wings are teardrops. The tail is a little triangle piece. And then you have the glass head. But it is, if I remember right, I believe I found a mark on this, that this was Swarovski I can never say it. But so this whole little basket is heading to the kitchen, so I could see about starting to get this stuff cleaned up, so that they can get that out of here and get that little crystal, because that's a beautiful little swan with those little crystals. And I'll figure out what I'm gonna do for those Easter ones. How many of you had a mom that had you do crafts at Easter? And I don't mean just dye the eggs. Mike was putzing around and stuff in his room because he has what had been my parents' room. And in one corner, there's the cedar chest, and there's still some boxes of stuff from there. And he found a Tupperware container, and it has all these blown eggs. A blown egg is where you put a pinhole in the top and a little hole in the bottom, and you usually take a hat pin. That's what I remember my mother doing. And she would ram that up and down a few times to break the yolk. And then you'd have to have the lungs of Zeus, because you'd have to blow the egg through the bottom hole to get it out. And then I remember she would then like rinse it with water, and then they'd dry. And then you would very carefully, she would cut little oval openings on these real eggshells. And then you would either sometimes you would watercolor paint them, or you dye the shell. But she'd make these little teeny little flowered, take little tiny plastic flowers, or sometimes bits of jewelry, little miniature windows inside the egg. And he found a box of them. And I had to stop and think, because I looked at one and suddenly got this flashback going, I made this one. Wait a minute. I think we've lost so many really cool handcraft things over the decades. Okay, so let's see. We know he's got to get clean, and we know everything in this basket needs to get cleaned. So we'll take care of that. But yeah, I mean, we did so much more. Jen was talking about it on her thing, about how they made Santa out of Reader's Digest magazines. And I remember that being a thing as a kid, where you could make a Santa. They had a snowman, that you could do that with those. And you don't see anything like nowadays. I don't know that you could find the Reader's Digest to do it with, but yeah, you used to. I want to find. I remember seeing stuff in craft magazines or craft books for kids, of what you could do with the Reader's Digest hardback books, because you can always find them. They still pop up at yard sales, estate sales. Sometimes you see them, and they never sell. They never go anywhere. The condensed versions of stories in the old Reader's Digest hardback books. So there's got to be some way to do some kind of cool craft with them to make something out of them. I'll show you this one. This is definitely getting a video. I love these. I absolutely love those old mosaic kits. They call them gravel art now. Back then they called them mosaics. And I loved going through this catalog. I bought this off somebody on eBay just to be able to go through it, and then I'll do a video on it, and I just haven't done it yet, and I need to do it. But they even have some in here I've never seen. I've never seen crushed glass mosaics. I didn't know crushed glass was a thing. And then they have glass sculpturing. Look at this. I wish this picture had been in color. So it's all little pieces of glass. that you have to put in there. And let me tell you, I can't imagine putting all them in, because that is a lot of little pieces that I can see even in the black and white picture. Oh, that mug makes my hand, that mug must make my hands look super tiny. I like how this actually has a whole page of the directions. Did any of you ever do these gravel art kits as a kid? Because I know they did them all in the, I know they did them in the 40s. I know they did them in the 50s. I know because I have, somewhere in this house is a set that my grandmother did. There's another one that my mother did. There's a cat that my sister did. And then there's an owl and a dog that I did as a kid in the 70s. So where is the, this one doesn't have as many cool pictures in it as I thought. I know there's another one. I wouldn't mind finding this Asian one. So these were the ones that were done by Custom Mosaics, but there's another company that had them, and I have their catalog. And neither catalog is very big, so I want to do them both together. And I found a Sears catalog. I put that aside. Okay, that's empty, so that's packing material. That's empty, so that's packing material. Packing material. See, this stuff should all be upstairs. It's stuff to use for packaging. Cardiology consultant, yada yada, and that one can go into recycling. No. Oh, I hate paperwork like that. Oh, okay. This is gonna. No, you're not getting. I don't think you're getting this, guys. Because I know there's collectors for Barbie, but there's also collectors for Francie. Because she's a rarer doll. She's part of the Barbie world, I think, but it is, and I don't know what it's from, but it's the center ad that's all Barbie and Francie from 1966. Isn't that wild? So yeah, that's definitely here to be on eBay. I guarantee that one. I grew up playing with the, oh, there's a catalog. Oh, recycle those two. Oh, another magazine. I have way too many magazines in this house. Friend of mine does, I don't think it's Pinch Me. I think it's mypoints.com. And you can build up all these points, and then you can get free magazine subscriptions. So she doesn't know what to do with all the points she gets, so sometimes she gives them to me. And then I get up with free magazines. Yet this, I saw Nate's comment, this is when I worked at DAMU, the Delaware Art Museum. This is a big honkin' teacup. It's great. I love it. And it says the new, but that was after they had completely remodeled the building. Delaware Art Museum has the largest collection of pre-Raphaelite art outside of England. It's right on the outskirts of Wilmington, Delaware. It is not a big museum. It also, though, has the wonderful distinction of being the home of a lot of illustration art, because they're one of the few museums in the country that has dedicated collection of illustration art. They started that because they have a lot of Howard Pyle stuff, including a lot of Howard Pyle pirate paintings. What we think of how pirates look is mostly from his artwork, his and N.C. Wyeth's. So, and when Disney did Pirates of the Caribbean, they came and they wanted to look at Howard Pyle's pirate images. And they were looking at some of them for costume ideas. And the Flying Dutchman painting ended up becoming Barbossa's costume. And when they knew that it was a hit and they were going to do more movies, they came back, gave the museum more money, and looked at everything they had in their Howard Pyle collection. Paintings, sketches, everything. So they really are a cool museum. I try to get my Boy Scouts down there anytime I teach the art merit badge, because you can see that entire museum. You can see the entire collection in an afternoon and get through the whole thing. And who's this smart aleck saying, hey, what's eBay? I don't know. I think that's some troublemaker I know. Oh, wait a minute. Paul, you're here. I want to show you something. So, Paul, I thought of you and your puppy because I found this teeny little thing. And it made me think of your puppy. Isn't that cute? You let me know, because if that looks like your puppy, I will give you this. It's apparently they were some kind of pet that was a little mystery box and you didn't necessarily know what one you were getting. And this was one of the first ones, the first series that they did. And it's this adorable little tiny baby. So Paul is Philly Flipper. And Paul probably thinks that I have forgotten him because I have not been over there to get any of my boxes back from the Black Hole Challenge room. But he knows I have not forgotten him. I just can't lift anything. But I'm getting better. I can sit up straight. I can stand up straight. And I've only been able to do that for 3 weeks now. So, yeah, isn't that? Yes, your puppy is cuter. Of course your puppy is cuter, Paul. Your puppy's adorable. But he has some of my stuff taking up space in his warehouse. And I feel bad because it shouldn't be there this long, but I didn't expect to like rip the crap out of myself. So what else did I find here? Okay, so here's the fun stuff. It's a holiday catalog. I have got to get these catalogs done for you guys. Wouldn't it be so cool to find these guys? Look at those. They're so funny looking. You know, it just would be so cool. That's what I like finding these old ones, is because you can see what some of the things that were out there were, and you can keep an eye out for them. And sometimes you find stuff that you knew you had as a kid and have seen, because I know somebody just had some of these. You see these little white bells? These little white bells were in everything. They were sold so you could make them into corsages, for package toppers, those little white plastic, and they were always had some little crystal coating on them. Those things were on everything. But I've got that one. I've got another personalized stuff catalog. I love finding these. These are old Hirschner's. Hirschner's still exists. Hirschner's will sell you kits for everything from Afghans to embroidery. They will send you latch hook rugs. I don't know how old this particular one is. Just says catalog 87. Sunset House. I've been setting all these aside and just been carefully like tucking them into an envelope as I found them. I love the cover on this one. This is another Hirschner's. But look at the cover. This is their Christmas catalog. Isn't that wild? And now this is another one. It's Hirschner's. But this catalog, while it's got a lot of Christmas in it, doesn't have the fun cover. But who remembers getting these? You see these? These were all those wooden, the kits with all the wooden pieces. And you had to hand paint all of those pieces. Who remembers having to do those? Somewhere in and like they never looked as good as the ones in the catalog, right? Because they get them and give them to us kids to do. And of course our hands weren't as steady as the artists they had do those things for the photographs. So they never ever looked as good. But Hirschner's does still exist. You can find them online and you can still get kits from them. You can still get stuff just like this. The kit that has the pattern to make your own big embroidered bedspreads. You can get all that still. They're still around. Okay, this is a good way to tell how old this catalog is. It has a towel in there that's got the date on it, 1986. Let's take a peek at the Christmas one. When's the Christmas one from? Uh-oh, Paul. Somebody else is after that puppy. Oh, look at the ears on this. What is wrong with that mouse? Book, I'll keep you in mind for that. Oh, wow. Hey, that's cool. This one even has some Halloween stuff in it. I like the witch. Let's see if I can find... I lost my mouse. Yeah, I don't think you're getting it. I don't think you're getting it, Book. Let me see if I can find it, because I always have trouble spelling it, because Hirschner's is Herrschner. That's not what I asked you to do. There we go. Wow, they now have diamond painting. Didn't Angela do one of those? Where it was diamond painting? No, I don't want to add there. Okay, so I'm going to put the link in for Hirschner's. And you see some of this. So instead of having gravel art like we had, the mosaic stuff, they now have sequin art. Here's the link for it. So they have sequins, they have diamonds. It's a cheesy looking fairy. But yeah, they still have a lot of stuff. Oh, they don't have any pin art. Oh, imagine that. Oh, but they do still have paint by number kits. Oh, come on. Can we show some that are for adults? Oh, they have a paint by number kit that's a pug. It looks like Louis. Ooh. Hmm. Might have to be getting that for Katie. Wow, they get a couple of pages of paint by number kits. Like pages of. So yeah, they're still around. They are definitely still around. And you can find now. Showed you those. Here's an idea of how long this company has been in existence. Those two were from the 80s. This one is from 1926. And this one is probably not leaving my house. Hirschner Kellogg. Look at that cover. Isn't that gorgeous? Isn't that gorgeous? So this is the one that I'm probably, once I do the video, this one's not leaving. Not for a while yet. Look at the little kids' outfits. And then the back cover has some amazing, it has, wait, is that a nightgown? What the heck? Yes, it is. So the two in the center, these two are sleeveless nightgowns, and then the others are, over smocks, which you would do while you were doing the housework. You'd have this over you so that you wouldn't get any dust on your clothes or dirt on it. Well, but look at how embroidered they are. Isn't it fabulous? Just fabulous. I was like, this one's not leaving. This one's so not leaving, and I honestly want to start looking for some of the stuff that's in here. I've never seen these before. They actually have sewing machine covers for your treadle sewing machine. First off, I didn't know treadles closed up flat. But they all have, like, some of them have comments. One says, if you keep me going, I'll do your sewing. Just a few stitches and safe are his breeches. I like that one. A stitch in time saves 9. Saves 9. But I've never, some of the stuff I've never seen. I never knew they made covers for that. These are some kind of fancy old bird, but it's very different because they're on black, which I've never, ever seen. That could not have been a popular seller. It says poly design. It could be, you could get it on ecru linen or black satin. I have never, ever come across any kind of embroidered linens that was on black satin like that. I want this. You see that one? If it'll focus. The Asian girl. I want that one. That one is fabulous. And it is, they tell you can do it in blue and white, or you can do it in your own colors. But it's a whole set. You have the big design with the girl for the bedspread, but they also have the curtains with the valance. They also have the entire dresser set. So I would love to find that. See if there's another cool color picture. Look at these illustrations. It's just so cool. I mean, you could just frame this thing. And So it's just wonderful. And I know, like, if my mom had seen this, she would have loved it because she was born in 1929. And so, like, she probably was in little layette sets like that because my great grandmother was a seamstress, and during the Depression, she took in sewing because she knew how, and she made some amazing beadwork and stuff, and was known for doing all this incredible beadwork. But I love the dresses. These dresses are just fabulous. So that one stays with me, and I'll put it back in its plastic envelope. But I will make a video of that one and show you all the really cool stuff. But that's the one that should be in the bag. But I've been saving them up because some of these things were in boxes from different relatives, and then some were in. The only one I bought the 1926 one off of eBay. That's the one I bought. But all the others were just packed away in boxes with other stuff. See, honestly, I mean, I'm not kidding when I say you never know what the devil I'm going to find. And that Sears catalog, let me show you that one. It is a Sears catalog Wishbook, but it's seen better days. It's got some loose pages in there that are messed up. Actually, I think that's the back cover. Yeah, that's the back cover and the last page. So it's not in the greatest shape. And that's from 1980. So can I tell you what a throwback it was to find this at a yard sale? I paid 25 cents for this. But it was a real throwback because in 1980, I would have been, trying to get some of this, though I wouldn't have gotten this. But you know that Mary mushroom everybody looks for? This tells you everything they made in Mary mushroom. And then they had kitchen coordinates that looked very close to Mary mushroom, but when you see them side by side, they're not exactly alike. But it's just such a cool thing. When you get to the toys section, I had to laugh because, okay, I don't remember having this, but I have this shower. I don't know why, because by 1980, I was too old to be playing with Dollhouse. So I think it might have been for the niece, because Sarah was born when I was 10 and I turned 11 a month and a half later. So I was an aunt by the time I was 10. So in 1980, man, Mom was still getting toys that came here for the granddaughters to play with, for Sarah and Jennifer. But there are some things in here, looking through the toy section, where it's like, hey, I wanted that, or we had that, and I remember that. But here's the part that I'm drooling over. All the Star Wars toys. I wanted that Millennium Falcon in the worst way, and I couldn't get one because everybody poo-pooed it. Oh, you're a girl. I don't give a damn. I wanted Star Wars toys, and I wasn't allowed to have them. And I wanted the Millennium Falcon. So the first movie came out in 1977. All I know is I was 12 when the first movie came out. Do you know how hard it is to con people into taking you to a movie? I was so fascinated by that first movie when it first came out. that I managed to talk my way into seeing that movie 6 times. That's an achievement for a 12-year-old. To be able to get to see that 6 times I saw the original Star Wars. Yeah, that was no easy task. I was even calling up my cousin. I called him at his home in King of Prussia. And I asked him, hey, when's the next time you're going to be down this way seeing our grandparents? Oh, hell's bells. I don't know where that went. I just lost a cough drop. So he hadn't been planning on coming down to see us spend the weekend at his grandparents. But when I told him, well, you know how they always want to know if we want to do anything. I want to go see this Star Wars movie. And he had wanted to go see it too. And I think he had seen it. And he wanted to go see it again. And he couldn't convince his parents, because he's younger than me. And he couldn't convince his parents. He may not have seen it. I'm not 100% sure. But either way, he made arrangements to come down that weekend. And Nanny took us, gave us money, dropped us at the movie theater. And back then, you had to have change for the payphone. Call us when you're done and we'll pick you up. So we got to see it again. And then we we're such brats. We said, you know, we really'd like to see it again. And Nanny went, okay. So before he left, we saw it Friday night. And then we went back on Saturday and saw it again. So it was quite the accomplishment to be 12 and finagling to see that movie 6 times. But I just loved it because I was never afraid of the horror movies from back then, because my oldest brother, the one who passed away in August, Steve, when we'd see all these old Vincent Price and Peter Cushing, and as sci-fi movies were starting to come out, and the old 50s horror movies with the big creatures and the Gila monster that they glue things to its back and have that as the monster. But he used to sit with me in the living room and he would explain to me how they did the special effects so I wouldn't be afraid of them. And so, I mean, I can remember being 5 and 6 years old watching these horror movies and loving them because I knew how they did it. I knew how they used corn syrup and food dye, and there's your blood, and how to look for the wires, you know. And so when Star Wars came out, it had so much innovative stuff that it was amazing and different from anything that had been out before it. And I was just so fascinated with it. And part of what I was doing was by the time I got to seeing it the 6th time, I'm basically watching it just to see if I could figure out how they were doing some of the special effects. Oh yeah, a lot of people, it was the first time they'd ever gone to a movie more than once. That they really wanted to see that more than one time. My kid doesn't get it. He's like, I don't see what the big deal is. And I'm like, yeah, because you haven't seen anything that was that kind of a massive jump in technology in a movie. Except maybe like when the first Jurassic Park came out, but that came out and he hadn't, you know, he missed that too because he's only 27. And so I pointed out to him like the Marvel movies have a lot of cool special effects that they never would have been able to do if there hadn't been the technology now. That's one of the reasons Black Panther took so long. They really needed to wait for the technology to catch up to be able to show Wakanda and some of the stuff that they would have. And I remember the Black Panther comic book, so I was glad they waited to do justice to it. So we are gotten pretty far here. Are you empty? You're another packing envelope. Okay. You're empty. Stick that there. More stuff that's going to get washed. Oh, look. I don't have a DS. Mike sold his DS. I got this at the bins before I knew Mike had sold his DS. I was so annoyed because I like Pokemon and I like Legend of Zelda. So these are going to go on eBay. Put them there. Oh, more vintage postcards. Save them for a live sale. Oh, this is something that was for Mike, and then I didn't know where I put it. So this is Bushido. You do it with this incredibly long wooden sword, which is actually several long, thin sticks stuck together, and then they're bound at the end there. And you have normally a mask on, and then all of this is, a lot of it is like almost like a rattan kind of armor. But this neat little figurine is, it says Benihana on the back. But I got it for him and then couldn't figure out where the devil I put it. So stick that down there. So that doesn't get lost again. I'm going to wrap that in Christmas paper and then hide it in his closet. So this put that there. Oh my goodness. My nose is beginning to run again. Here's my box of tissues. Oh, these were on my backpack. I have Hermione and I have Ron Weasley, but I don't have Harry. I never found Harry. Let's see. That's it. All right, you are backdrops for, that's recycling. I know what these are. These are all the backdrops, different colored backdrops for my light box. So, oh, you love Star Trek too? Oh yeah, I've always been a big sci-fi person. And I'm not your typical female. Like they joke around about, Mike and I joke around about it all the time, is because everybody just assumes because I'm the female, I want to go see the movies that have the romantic comedy. Maybe. Depends on who's in it. Has it got good eye candy? I mean, I remember going to see one like that solely because it had Alan Rickman in it. because, you know, I'd watch anything with Alan Rickman in it. But no, it's not usually my kind of movie. I actually had one guy break up with me because he told me my taste in movies was abnormal for a female. Because he asked me if I wanted to go see a movie and I didn't recognize the title. And he says, "You look confused." I said, "Because I don't recognize that one." You know, it wasn't well, it turns out it was one of these art house things we were going to go up into Philadelphia to see. But I turned around and I said, "Well, do things explode in it? Because if it's got explosions, I'm there." And he just looked at me like I'd suddenly grown a second head. I'm sorry, I like action films and sci-fi films. And if things explode, yeah, I want to go see it. Oh my goodness. So yeah, yeah, I'm love finding the sci-fi, and I've had to explain some sci-fi to some people though, because some of these kids were fussing about the Dune movie, the new one. They didn't think it was that good. What's the big deal? Yada, yada, yada. I'm like, okay. Have you ever seen any other movie, like, say, the Lord of the Rings trilogy? What'd you think of that first one? Or the first Star Wars movie? What'd you think of that first one? And they said, well, you know, they all kind of like drag a bit. I'm like, yeah, because they're setting everything up. It's such a big story, they can't do it in one. So you're getting the setup, and trust me, this version of Dune is so much better, just special effects wise, from the original one. Oh, so much better. So a couple of them went and they Googled the original one and started seeing some clips of the original one on YouTube, and they were like, yeah, I see your point now. This is a lot better. Oh yeah, Nettie, we can like anything. Absolutely. Oy. Oh. So I be careful how many of these I grab at one time. My back's tiring out. Okay, so you guys are going to see this in an upcoming live sale. It is open, so I don't know how many is missing. There are rabbits in there, but it's a pack of vintage Christmas. So what, there's 1, 2, 3. It says there's 4, and I'm guessing there's 2 sheets of each. So something's probably missing. There's probably 1 missing. Each sheet wraps 1 shirt box. Ooh. What the heck? You mean my OneDrive isn't? I don't care. I'm not syncing to any of that. All right, so we know that's. Oh, this should probably come to a live sale. Finger plays and action rhymes. What is a finger play? Oh, wow. I've never seen any of these. Okay. Have any of you ever heard of Mrs. Peck Pigeon? What the heck is Mrs. Peck Pigeon? Okay, we all know Church and Steeple. We all know Church and Steeple, probably. So, yeah, there's a... I have 2 eyes to see with. They're cute little rhymes, so that's going to definitely be live sale. I'll have to look this one up. I didn't know I had another one of these. So when this opens up, it folds out to this, to the whole little village. So I will have to double check. I've sold one of these before, but it's been a couple of years, and these used to go for close to $30 on eBay. I'll have to check and see, because they're only from 1995, but it's James Herriot, All Creatures Great and Small, which is a wonderful series of books about a vet in the Yorkshire area, is he in the 40s or is it in the 1950s? But this thing folds out as a whole little playset of the village. So I'll have to double check that one. Oh, this should be in my kitchen. Why is this not in my kitchen? Death by Chocolate. Why is this cookbook not in my kitchen? Book? I'm not going to say a word because my mind went there too. Oh, look, little chocolate mousses in little tiny chocolate. They're in little tiny chocolate cups. That's cool. Why is this not in my kitchen, though? Lucy's Chocolate Diamonds. Oh, it's chocolate cake with chocolate ganache and raspberry filling. Oh yeah, this should be in my kitchen. Or I should at least go through it and copy out the recipes that I want. That needs to be looked into. We're going to set that one aside. Now, oh, I can't lift that many. Come on, let go. Let go. Ah. Ah. I'm only up to 8 pounds that I can lift. And it's even harder when you're sitting down. Yeah, chocolate and raspberries are good together. I'm not a big fan of chocolate and cherry. Okay. Charles Prendergast. That's all it says on the side. So this is most likely an art catalog. Yep. The work of Charles Prendergast. So this is from Rutgers University Art Gallery and the Museum of Fine Arts, Boston, 1968. So he was a wood carver. And hi, Heartland Picker. And so this was the catalog for the art exhibition that went out and about in 1968 of all of his stuff. And he even has little boxes that he carved the tops to. So a lot of times, because this was a big amount of, there were a lot of art catalogs from art shows in the collection I inherited. So if you spot them and you're out and about and you resell, don't just blow them off. A lot of times those catalogs from an art show, from an art exhibition, can be worth some serious money, especially if it's somebody who's dead and well known. And sometimes you hit the bonus round and you find ones that are actually signed. Those are awesome. The best one I found was one that was signed by Andrew Wyeth, who I've met numerous times working at the Delaware Art Museum. I love the guy. He was great. But it was signed by him, by his wife, and by his son, Jamie. Jamie Wyeth is also an artist. And so that one was probably the one that brought in the most money because it had all three signatures on it. Now this one is Sotheby's. This is a Sotheby's catalog for Sotheby's auction, 20th century British art, which I'm not. I like my art to actually look like stuff. I've never been big on modern art. Now this has some inserts in it too. So it has some advertisements in it for some other upcoming auctions. Now these are from 2005. So I'll have to look them up and see what I should list them at. But these will end up going up on eBay because this is not the place for these. I mean, I do have to consider that when I sell stuff that, you know, it is now my entire livelihood because I'm not working in Wawa anymore. So I don't have a day job. This is it. Contemporary art. This is another one. Look at that cover. Look at the cover. And the other fun part is that you find these old auction catalogs. Oh, I know that artist. That's a Botero, isn't it? Yep, Fernando Botero. Delaware Art Museum did a collection of his artwork, had a show. And he likes his people fluffy. He likes fluffy women and fluffy men. Botero had some great artwork. But anyway, when you find old art catalogs, they also are great resources for artwork to use for junk journaling. But sometimes, you know, they can be worth a ton of money. It depends on the auction. It depends on what artists are in that auction, in that catalog. I don't know about this one because it is such modern contemporary stuff. So I don't know. Now this one I know. This one I know will sell well because it's Victorian and Edwardian art, and there is a big following for that. When you get into Victorian art, there's a lot of stuff with animals. You have three prints of who? Botero? I love Botero. I should have picked up more. I have the catalog from the exhibition, but I should have picked up some posters. Yeah, the Victorians love their cat and dog pictures, and their horse, and their pheasant, and their duck, and their sheep, and oh my. I like when they give you a fold out. Look at that awesome picture. Isn't that cool? I bet that's one of the Juliet and the Nurse, John Rodham Spencer Stanhope. So that's definitely in that pre-Raphaelite style. Now this is a close-up of another one. Look at the rich colors. I always did love the pre-Raphaelite stuff. They were called the pre-Raphaelites because they didn't feel that there was any decent art after the Raphaelite movement, which was some many years before. Is this a Melias? Yep, John Everett Melias. Melias. When you see these up close, stuff by him, you swear the clothing, you're looking at a photograph. His details that he captures on clothing are always so realistic and so stunning. that when you see one of those paintings up close by him, you'd swear that you were just looking at a photo, but it's painting. It's painting. Oh, I know. I used to have this hanging on my wall. So this is the marriage of Tatiana and Oberon, and it's full of fairies. Look at one of the details of the tiny fairies. So apparently, because that is, okay, that's not the wedding, that's the quarrel. And that used to hang over my bed for a lot of years, a poster of that. But the picture that goes with it that they are advertising here, this is the full picture. Look at all those little fairies. Isn't that awesome? And then that one picture was a close-up. And apparently it was exhibited in an exhibition. It's called Other Worlds, an exhibition of illustrators' works in the realms of fairies, fantasies, and the future, July 11th, 31st of July to the 11th of August, 1989. Wow. I'm going to be looking for the catalog that's from that show. But I know this one then will do well. This one, I wonder how well. It's all birds. It's from the Lehigh Yawkey Woodson Art Museum. But it's all, they did an exhibition that was nothing but birds. All kinds of birds. Whether it was sculpture, photographer, painting. There's a neat sculpture one. But people like to find these, and if you have them and you need to list them, you need to actually, like, I wouldn't say you have to put in every single artist that's in there, but I would say just list at least, I would say at least put the names of 10 artists of different mediums in your description if you're gonna put one of these in. Put something in that's a photographer, put somebody in that's an oil painter or a watercolor painter or a carver, and have that in your auction description, because that's what's going to help you sell it, is people looking for stuff that is the image of that artist. Because while they may not be able to afford an actual piece of art by that artist, they'll snap up anything that has images from that artist's work in it. Hello, Patrick. You're new? And laid up that thumbs up. Yeah, that always helps. So I know tonight's not what everybody usually has. I mean, I usually have a box and we do an unboxing, but my throat's starting to go. But with this blasted cold this week, it wiped me out. I didn't even have a box ready, and I have no space because I'm really clogged up. There's too much around here. Hey, check this out. So, the Pennsylvania Impressionists. So it's a book on the artists that were Impressionist, right? But look who did the foreword. James A. Michener. Michener is a very celebrated author, and I've read a lot of his stuff. By any chance, are you signed? Yes! Yes! Bonus round! So when I had that book collection, we had to check every single book. Didn't matter if it was a paperback, didn't matter if it was a hardback, didn't matter if it was a book from the 30s, didn't matter if it was a Martha Stewart book from just 2 years before the woman had died. Not Martha Stewart, but the friend that inherited from. Everything had to be checked for signatures. signed by Thomas Folk, who was the author of the book. Yes! Bonus! Bonus, bonus. Why is this down here? Maybe this is an extra. Oh, you know what? I know why this is down here. This is an extra. So, if you haven't noticed from the shirt that says the Mikado, that I'm a big fan of Gilbert and Sullivan. And I don't think I have any mods here tonight. I think the few people that were mods have left. So, and so far, you know, they're not hurting anything. But the minute somebody does, but this one, I remember seeing this in Goodwill, and I snagged it. I was like, I must rescue this. HMS Pinafore was so popular that it spawned a children's version of HMS Pinafore, sanctioned by Gilbert and Sullivan. But it has most of the musical selections in it. There were kids' books. I love the artwork in this one. It's illustrated by Fritz Krettel. But they did storybooks of Pinafore, and then I have a few other storybooks of ones like Iolanthe, Pinafore, Mikado, Gondoliers somewhat. Sometimes you find Yeoman of the Guard. But they made a lot of different kids' books out of these. So this one I know I grabbed just to rescue it from the Goodwill. But I have a lot of I need to do a deep dive at some point, but everything, so much of it's still packed away. I have, for Gilbert and Sullivan stuff, I have the musical scores, of course, but I actually have 2 musical scores that are so old that they are before the rewrite. So the original Sorcerer was one of the earliest ones Gilbert and Sullivan did. Well, when they brought it back, they rewrote parts of it. So it doesn't have the original opening to Act 2 anymore. It has a new one. So there are some scores I have that still have some of these original first night, what they call a first night edition of the show, and they don't have the rewrite that came later. I have 2 of them like that. Oh, now see, this one is the one that I want to keep to read. This is H.G. Wells' Scrapbook. So, of that G&S stuff, I have glassware. I have some stuff you saw when I did the China Closet, because there's porcelain stuff in there. There's porcelain plates. There's some children's sets. One thing I don't think that you saw, because I don't think I have any of it in there, is the Savoy Hotel was right next to the Savoy Theater, which was built by Gilbert Sullivan and Richard Doyley Cart. Doyley Cart owned the hotel, and the hotel used to have dinnerware that had some of the characters of the Gilbert and Sullivan shows on it. I actually own 2 pieces of dinnerware. I have one that has the Lord Chancellor on it, and then I have another one which I think I have one that has the Sorcerer on it, has J.W. Wells. I'd love to find more of that, but you so rarely find that. But I have a lot of old books too that were written by the people that had performed some of the original stuff. But I love H.G. Wells, and this is the H.G. Wells Scrapbook. Articles, essays, letters, illustrations, photographs, and memorabilia about the prophetic genius of the 20th century. I love reading H.G. Wells. I have not yet read all of his stuff, because I'm still looking for most of his titles because you can't find a lot of them. So I know I snagged this. I snagged this to read this. So this should go with the Pinafore one. And the chocolate one. Get them to a better place. This one I have to double check because I know the illustrator, Juanita Bennett, is an illustrator that is sought after. A child's garden of verses. You will find so many editions of this particular book. It's insane. There are just hundreds of varieties of editions of this. Where they become collectible is who did the artwork. Who did the artwork for these? Oh, look at the flamingos. Isn't that cool? So I will have to check that one. You can see the dust jacket's in really rough shape, but at least it still has it. Look at the end papers. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? So this is, oh, it's published by Whitman. Look at this is definitely a lithographed book because of the colors, the richness of the colors that has stayed. This edition is 1932. So this is not a reprint of this. This would have been the original one. Oh, look, here this goes with the poem about fairy bread. Such gorgeous illustrations. Now, they reprinted this at some point, and it's not as big. It's only down to about here, and it's not as wide this way. So I know there's a reprint out there, but it's smaller. This is the original big one. Yeah, that early Whitman stuff. You find the early Whitman stuff, the pre-World War I Whitman stuff, usually it has a good value. The problem for some of it is that they use the old rag paper that gets very, well, it's not rag paper. It's pre-rag paper. Before they would put fibers like cotton fibers in paper. So what happens is the paper is mostly sheer wood pulp. And so it has no flexibility and it gets brittle and starts turning brown. So some of that earlier stuff is falling apart because it's so fragile. The acid in the paper, because there's so much more just straight up wood pulp in the paper, that it's just too fragile. And the acid makes it turn brown, and then you touch it and it'll crumble. So the earlier Whitman stuff, the earlier you get, some of it can just be falling apart, which is why it's getting harder and harder to find big little books, which were the early ones from the 20s and 30s. It is very hard to find those early 1930 ones in good shape because they're just so old that most of them are falling apart. And the threads, when they had thread bindings, the threads were silk and the threads have dry rotted. That's the other problem. Ebooks on Project Gutenberg. Can you see, I don't have anything to read ebooks on. You can put them in your phone, can't you? I don't know if you can download them to a laptop or not. Oh, we're not going to get too much further because these books are killing my back. A Short History of American Democracy. I don't think we know what that is anymore. Written by John D. Hicks, professor of American history at University of California at Berkeley. Ooh. Copyright 1949. So this had to be a textbook, I'm guessing, because there's notes. See the pencils? There's notes in here. There's stuff underlined. Oh, I kind of want to read this after seeing that. So somebody's comment after the rise of the New West, it says, really now, I can't read people's minds. Wish I could, though. Oh, I may have to read this just to have some fun with all the notations. This could be fun. So there's a section on capital and labor, and it's got all the big names from the time. You've got Ford, who looks like, you know, death warmed over in that picture. Carnegie. Now, we all have heard of Carnegie Mellon, but Carnegie's half of that. Hill, I don't know. Rockefeller. Morgan, that's probably J.P. Morgan. Vanderbilt. Wow, Vanderbilt's still got that wraparound collar and the mutton chops that come all the way down to here. Holy Moses. All right, so we've got that one. Ooh, Neil Gaiman. I love Neil Gaiman, and it's an autographed copy. And can I tell you, I loathe these stickers because they don't come off. You would think a company that makes their money selling books would understand that collectors don't want your damn stickers stuck on the front of the book forever. It's frustrating. They don't come off. I've even tried heating that with a hairdryer. Could not get it to come off. But this is signed, but it's kind of that cheater signed where this is a book plate. And so what they do is they get people to buy in advance the copy, and they'll sell an autographed copy. And what they do is they send the author's never there to sign the book anymore. At least that's what it seems like. But they'll get them to sign a book plate, and then they put that in there. But that's Neil Gaiman. I love his stuff. And have you guys ever heard him talk? He has the exact same accent that Alan Rickman had. So if we ever needed somebody to do a voiceover to sound like Severus Snape, we just need to get Neil Gaiman. We just need to get him. Oi. Okay. All right. What do we got? We have American Illustration from the Glenbow Museum. Can we have some color shots? No? You're no fun without color shots. So they aren't on shiny paper. Looks like they're on linen paper. A lot of these are black and white images, which really isn't a surprise because a lot of books and in newspapers, they'd be black and white. Like the original painting, if they had the painting, might not be. But the reproduction was often black and white because it made it cheaper. Illustration art auction. I loved picking these up. When they were done looking at them at the Delaware Art Museum, they just sit them out near the mailboxes for staff. Check out the space one. Isn't that cool? What is that? That is Ed Valigursky it's a space station with astronauts replacing fuel tanks. It was the magazine cover for Orbit magazine, 1954. The artwork was estimated value at this auction was $1,500 to $2,500. Wow. But yeah, I love seeing these. You have Bob Jones, which is the one with the girls there. Look at these faces. Aren't these fantastic? Look at these. Oh, I can't show that one. She's showing a wee bit too much of lack of clothing. Looking for a name I actually know. Artist unidentified. Well, that one's not going to show up too good, but so this one is Elizabeth Shippen Green, but the other one, it's awful dark. This is the Jessie Wilcox Smith, who's one of those ones that if you looked her up, you would probably recognize at least half a dozen of her images. And look, they had a Dr. Seuss cartoon from Judge Magazine from 1929. It wasn't signed, and they still expected to get between $5,000 and $8,000 for this Dr. Seuss cartoon. Wow. These things are just so cool to look through and see the artwork. But they have some awesome, awesome images. But it's an auction of illustration art from 2003. This one, I don't know. This says this is the Metropolitan Museum of Art Bulletin. So this is the newsletter, I guess. Oh, wow. Of Arms and Men. Now this is up my line right here. Check out this armor. Look at that sleeve. That's a shoulder plate to protect your shoulder. Look at the detail on that. That is amazing. Absolutely amazing. That's a gun? What the heck? German, Munich, 1510 to 1596. Double-barreled pistol of Emperor James V. Look at all the incredible work on that. That's amazing. And you can't even see all the artwork, all the etching work that's on that gold. There isn't a piece on there that doesn't have some kind of etching on it. That's amazing. I was always impressed by old armor. There's a Japanese one. Because the amount of craftsmanship it took with, tools that were, you had to do it all by hand. It's just amazing. So apparently this was just all stuff that's in their collection. Like, look at that. Look at all the artwork that's on that helmet. And see, this kind of stuff never saw a battlefield. It was all made to show that you had the wealth, that you had the wealth, the power, the standing to be able to afford a full suit of armor, especially ones that had all this artistry on it. It had nothing to do with ever wearing this actually out in battle. It was all about the look and the prestige of the fact that you were powerful enough and you were rich enough to be able to have one of these. So the more ornate ones were just for show. Absolutely just for show. You see an owl in those gears? Oh, for on the pistol? Yeah, it took me a second too. All right. Here's why I keep going tonight, even though my back is starting to go. I wanted to get down to this. Let's find out together what on earth this is. This was the bottom of the pile. Somebody put packing tape over the spine. Never a good sign, but not something that a book restorer could not deal with. Somebody was really super careful, too. You know why I can tell they're careful? Ugh. Because the tape doesn't come onto the marbled paper. The tape goes right along this black edge here. Somebody knew what they were doing putting that on. Oh yeah, Steph. They would have. Venice, the stuff would have been stunningly beautiful. But I mean, that's the whole point, is like it wasn't, most of it was not ever meant to be used. It was just to show position and power and wealth. So this is, oy, oy, oy. Look at the Republican Court, or American Society in the Days of Washington. Now, it's lost. Looks like it's lost a little wording there, or else something got stuck to it. All right, so we've got, oh, it's not 1900, that's for sure. Well, I knew that looking at it. 1855. What year was the Civil War? Ay, ay, ay. This thing's just, the spine is literally just crumbling into pieces. So it's 1850. The first folio is off. Yeah, see, you can see the thread is actually cut right through. It's actually just cut right through the pages. It's so old. I can't tell if this is... Okay, let's see what we can find out here. 1854. There we go. So some of the contents, so it starts with peace. So it must start with after the Revolutionary War, and then the convention. Then it has Year of Suspense, a Triumphal Progress, and then the inauguration. New York Metropolitan, Eastern Tour, Society in Philadelphia, that would be an interesting one to look at. And an appendix. There's a whole list of different portraits that are supposed to be in here. When you have a book that's this old and they have a list of portraits, you're going to need to check and make sure all of the portraits are there. So at least with this, it gives you the page that they're supposed to be on. So I can tell you right now, one of them's missing, because it says page number 1. So right in here should be Mrs. Washington, painted by J. Wollaston. Most of these have the name of the artist for the painting. Now, I recognize some of them. I don't know this Wollaston. Gilbert Stuart, I've heard of. John Singleton Copley, I've heard of. Thomas Gainsborough, I've heard of. And Gilbert Stuart, I've heard of. Well, I said his name already. So that's going to be the first problem with, well, the first problem is the condition of the spine. But it looks like at some point, yeah, that's not supposed to do that. But let's show you. This is the actual outer spine of the book. It is so dried out that it's just crumbling right off of it. And unfortunately, it looks like at some point somebody took out all the picture plates. So I don't know. I don't think we're going to find any. Now, this was inside, and it's left its mark. It's left brown marks on the pages. But this is an article from the New York Times magazine from 1925. Happy New Year at the White House. And I'm trying to be careful with this because this is fragile in itself. So it says the custom of holding public receptions was handed down by the early Dutch colonies. So it talks about apparently that there were always a tradition of public receptions where anybody could just go into the White House on New Year's and shake hands with the president. Now, I know that went on for a long, long time. I'm not sure when that stopped. Oh, no, here's something else. This is a handmade bookmark. And that looks like grass around little thin wood shavings. That's pretty cool. That's also left brown marks on the pages. Such a pity that somebody took all of the plates out. Have Life in the Capitol. Tells you what that was like. Yeah, there's not a single portrait plate in here. So at some point, somebody pilfered all the plates. So I don't know that that will be worth much, if anything, in this condition. But, you know, it's an old saying, run it up the flagpole and see who salutes. There might be somebody that's really into that early history that that they just want it as a research book. So we know, look, and it's, God, it's leaving little grit pieces everywhere from that cover falling apart. Put that in trash. So that gives me a good start. We've got it separated. We've got this nice pile here that we know is definitely going to be eBay. We've got 4 down there that we know need to go to other parts of the house because they shouldn't be out here. Because that one's cookbook, that's going to the kitchen. And then there's 2 others over here and other stuff. Then the stuff's divided for live. Something's divided for live sales and is now separated from the eBay stuff, which is great. So then tomorrow I will see about keeping going and see what I can do with those. My back is about shot from all these heavy books. So, and my voice is cracking, and so I need to go. And hello, Strong Minds. And you came just in time for us to say goodbye. But part of it's this cold, you know. I said I'd be on for 2 hours, and here it is. I started at 11, and it's almost been 3, which, you know, explains why the back, well, lifting up the books is why the back is going, but why the voice is starting to go. So I see Vintage Vinny put up a new video while we've been on, which is great. And you have something there you can go watch, because he always posts his late at night. He usually posts his videos around midnight. And but I'm glad to see him back. He took some time off for a while there because he needed to recharge his batteries. Because Vinny works full time, and he works full time in retail. And retail around this time of year, I'm glad I don't work in the malls anymore. I'm really glad I don't. So I'm going to get going, and I hope you enjoyed this. I feel like I'm talking to myself so much, it seems, that I just sometimes feel like I'm rambling. And you've had the fun of the fact that my brain early on would just kind of go squirrel and do like it usually does, where I'm mid-sentence and would forget what I was talking about. But part of that's just from being sick. It's worse than usual because just not feeling good. But it's time for me to take some meds and get to sleep, because Mike's going to want me awake when he gets home from work. So, but I can go back to sleep again later. And I don't sleep too much. Today I actually conked out for 7 straight hours, but sort of straight hours. But usually I'm only sleeping 3, maybe 4 at most. I started off only being able to sleep 2. So I'm going to go. You guys have a great weekend. I'm probably back for a live sale next week, but I know I have to get you the dates. I'm going to be on Trisha's sales again this month. We had so much fun together that I will this month be doing a Wednesday afternoon sale with her. And off the top of my head right now, I don't remember the dates. And then I will be doing a Saturday night sale. But I think the Saturday night sale is closer to the end of the month. And I had to figure out, too, for this month, what I'm doing on Thanksgiving night. Because that's a Thursday. And it's not that I don't know that we're going. I don't think we're going anywhere for Thanksgiving. And usually Mike works the holiday. I used to as well. I used to work that holiday because then, you know, you got time and a half. But not being at Wawa now, I don't know if I'll have a sale that night, but I may pop on and do some kind of live and just have something we can have fun with. Maybe I'll find a Thanksgiving story I can read to you. and I better flippin' be healthy by then. So good night, everybody. Have fun. And I'm getting so close to that 1,000 mark. I lost one. I had 936, and now the YouTube whatevers have taken one away. So I'm sitting at 935. So we need to get me there. We need to get me to that 1,000 so we can have the pajama party, the all night long pajama party, which the Queen will have to be at that, dears. I have to bring the Queen back out. I had to explain that one to my sister because the wig is sitting over there with the tiara, and she just was kind of looking at me kind of funny. And then I did the accent for her, and she laughed, so that was good. So good night, everybody, and I will see you next week. And after the errands are run in the morning and then a nap, then invoices will start going out. I have everything written out now, so I can combine shipping for as much as I can. And I know I keep saying it, but I have so much stuff and only a card table. to pack on right now that it gets a little difficult. But I also don't have a kid around for the weekend. I'm going to take advantage of that. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that one of them's out of the house for the weekend on a scout trip. So I'll see you guys next Thursday night. So good night. End. Come on. You can do it.